So for this first lesson in the Intro to Exponential Functions unit, we've got some key concepts, and then we're going to go over the rival Genie cooldown. So first of all, when we look at the exponential functions unit, we look at some fairly simple patterns here. And what we can see with this pattern is that we are doubling, which is different than patterns we've looked at before, because patterns that we looked at before, we were just adding or subtracting the same amount each time. That's what we talk about in terms of linear growth or decay. But with an exponential, we're multiplying. Now, this number starts off very, very small, and it continues to be very, very small for quite some time. Now, this repeated multiplication process, what we can do is we can simplify it, or we can, instead of writing out multiple multiplications, we can use exponents. Because remember, exponents represent repeated multiplication. So this 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, there's 4 of them. We can represent that with a 2 to the 4th power. Now, the reason why that's convenient is because what if we want to double it 30 times? Now, for some reason, this is a 10. That should be a 2. I don't know why I made that a 10. Anyway, times 2 to the 30th. That would represent doubling 30 times. And even though we started with a very, very small number, we would end up with a very, very large number. The reason for that is because when we multiply each time instead of adding each time, like doubling, tripling, whatever, it's going to end up growing a lot faster than if we just add the same amount. For example, if we started with like 1 penny and we added $40 every day, that would still end up being less than if we double the amount of money every day after a certain amount of time. The amount of time matters, which is what brings us to this cooldown, growing and growing. Rival Genie, I think is what it's called on Summit. So while on a beach, your friend discovers a different genie. This genie offers 2 purses to choose from, and he gives you the following graph to show you how much money in each purse, how the money in each purse will grow. A set of triangular marks represent a linear growth. The red squares represent the amount in purse B, which is an exponential growth. The genie is still deciding how many days he will let the money in the purses grow, so we don't know how many days yet. What you need to do is plan a strategy for picking the purse with the most money while the genie thinks. So what's your strategy? We don't know how many days. Should we go with the blue triangles or the red squares? Your answer might vary depending on how many days it is. So think through a strategy, try to explain that, and that's what I'm looking for. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm here to help.